Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Matt Walker here with the Choir Director Corner, and today's webinar, Flipgrid Essentials for the Choir Director. And so I'm going to dig right in here today because I have a lot of information here for you. So I'm going to share my screen here with you really quick. Now, as we go along, if you've got any questions, please feel free to post those in the comments, and then I will stop periodically to take a look at those and see how we can all help you. All right. So sharing my screen with you. All right. And so here we go. Welcome to Flipgrid Essentials for the Choir Director. Now, before we get started, if you're viewing this from Facebook, you'll see in the description, there's a little blurb about StreamYard. Now, if you could go in there and click on that just really quick, and that will give StreamYard permission to post your name when you post in the comments. Otherwise, it just comes up as an anonymous person. And so it's really nice to collaborate and interact with real people. So it's great to see your name. So if you're on Facebook and you want to do that here really quick, and then come on back as I do the introductions, and we'll be all set to go. So the outline for today, the first part is a lot of nuts and bolts. And so it's about getting started in Flipgrid, how to create groups and topics, how to record videos, and then also getting into rubrics and giving students feedback. And then part two is going to be some examples of some of the more common, the more popular assignments, or I see, the assignment types that I see the most questions about. So how to do video responses. How does a student do a basic video response? And then getting into repertoire practice and even repertoire assessment using video. Sight reading examples. There's lots of ways that you can do those with Flipgrid. I'm going to do one with a screencast today. And then also collaboration via student comments. We're showing you a topic where students can record a video response to another student's video. And so getting into some collaboration that way and some interaction amongst your singers. And then also how to incorporate YouTube videos, and then also downloading videos and converting to audio. For any of you that would like to download videos, it's really not required, but say you're doing like a virtual choir project, you could have your students do their video via Flipgrid, and then you can download those videos and then take those wherever you want and incorporate that into your virtual project. So it's a lot of the how-to today, and a lot of that is going to come in the version of on-screen video tutorials. And so I have pre-recorded a bunch of different video tutorials for you. Rather than just telling you about it, I'd like to actually show you step by step how you can do these things in Flipgrid. And so we're going to go through these video tutorials, and then, as I said, I'll stop periodically just to see if any folks have questions, and then we can move on. Okay. And as I said, if you do have questions other than the comments, a couple of ways that you can reach me. One is just by email, and that's matt@choirdirectorcorner.com. On Facebook, you can find our private group at choirdirectorcornergroup.com. So you don't even have to search Facebook. If you just put that web address into your browser, it'll take you directly to the group. And it is a private group. You just answer 3 quick questions, takes 30 seconds, and you're in. And it's a group that really emphasizes positivity, really emphasizes staying on topic, and just really trying to support each other as we go and try and tackle all of these challenges associated with being a choir director. And then the website, if you've never been over to the website, I invite you to go and check that out for lots of different resources, and that's www.choirdirectorcorner.com. So some changes, if you're familiar with that song, some changes. Flipgrid has actually, or they're just in the process of doing an update. And so as we're going through these tutorials, and once you start to get into Flipgrid, things may look a little bit different. I've been over the past 2 weeks doing these video tutorials, and you'll see the videos at the beginning and then the videos at the end, some of the screens look different because they're already starting to implement some of these changes. Now, the great thing is that everything pretty much works the same way. They've just changed how some things look. They've changed maybe some of the terminology. One thing that's in there is in the grids, when you create a grid, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, is private versus public. Now, I haven't gotten into this too much, but reading through their literature on their website, Flipgrid says if you've got students, you want to use private. And so, that's the short answer, is go ahead and select that option. Now, not necessarily a change, but something that you should know about if you're planning on using Flipgrid with your students is iOS and Android devices. They need to be having the Flipgrid app on their device. And so if they're using their mobile browser on an iOS or Android device, they can see everything. They can see your videos that you post, but they cannot record videos from that mobile browser. And so that's where they need to have that app in order to make those recordings. Otherwise, Flipgrid is going to work on any sort of device, Chromebooks, laptops, iPads, tablets, whatever. If it is a mobile device, you need to have that app. But it is web-based, and so it's going to work on anything where you've got a web connection. So it does require Wi-Fi in that case, if you're using something that's needing that. Some terminology has changed, and so you're going to see in these videos grids and topics. Grids has simply changed to groups. And so anytime you see or hear grids in this video, just think groups, okay? And then student code is something that's used at the very beginning when we create these grids. Student code has simply become a student username. And so instead of giving a student a code that they could use to enter into your grid, they would just use a username. It's just a different terminology. Disco Library is a tab at the top of the screen with Flipgrid that houses all these different types of topics. That now has changed simply to Discovery. And so it's pretty much the same thing. Got all these different topics that are posted in there. However, that terminology has changed. So when you go to the new Flipgrid, you might see that as different. Also, passwords are there for invited family and guests. So you've got this option. You don't have to use it. It's totally optional. But if you wanted to give the option of adding family members or guests into your Flipgrid, you can do that. And so then you would create this password that they would need to use to enter that. Now, it would be very careful if you're allowing them to enter into your group, then they're going to have access to all of the topics in that group. So my advice would be, if you've got a specific topic that you want to share, is to go into that topic versus going into the group and sharing it that way with your parents, typically is what is happening in there. And that's where you can create that password. And then additional changes are going to be rolling out here in the coming weeks and even months. But from the sound of it, from everyone at Flipgrid, it's primarily just in how things look. Some of the terminology may change, but the function really is pretty much the same. So we should be just fine as far as the logistics of everything working. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to stop here, and we're going to get right into the video tutorial. Okay. All right. Need to shrink this down just a second. There we go, so I can see that. Okay, here we go, friends. Here today to go through a tutorial on Flipgrid with you. And so if you're unfamiliar with Flipgrid, Flipgrid is web-based software that's going to allow you to collaborate with your students, to prepare different projects, assessments, and things like that. And then also will allow some collaboration and some interaction amongst your students if you so choose. And so I'm going to start at the very beginning, show you how to get signed up for Flipgrid, which is free. which is a wonderful thing. And then going through and creating some of the different types of assignments, assessments that you might want to do with your students. Also showing you then how that's going to look with your students from their perspective, how then they will go through and complete those projects, assessments, and then once they complete things, what it looks like again from the teacher perspective. And so getting you all the sort of the knowledge and the experience that you need to get started with your students. So I am here at the Flipgrid homepage, and it's just flipgrid.com. And so if you go up here to the right and you click on this blue button, it's going to get you started for the educator sign up. Now, when you sign up, you are going to need an email address that is either a Google email address or it is going to require you to have a Microsoft email address. So one of the two. So if you don't have one of those, you will want to go and just sign up for one of those really quick before going on. A lot of schools, a lot of their emails are going through Google now, so that will certainly work. But if not, you will want to do that first. So when you click on the educator sign up here, it will ask you to enter that information. Okay, so once you've entered in your email, it's going to take you to a screen like this. And so they're just asking a little bit about you as a teacher and making sure that you're not just someone from off the street. And also down here, I wanted to go through this real quick. They've got a tab here where it's going to talk about some best practices and also consent forms. And so really quick, I just want to click on that and show you what this looks like. Now, this is a PDF that you can print off and send with your students to their parents. And it does have some links. And so if you have a way to email parents, that's great because then they can just click directly on that link. Okay. Now, this is something where if I go back and I show you the best practices as well, it's just a simple do's and don'ts. And so with the consent forms, it says here specifically, consent forms are designed for students under 13 years of age or in the US or under 16 elsewhere. So if you're outside the United States, under 16 years of age, United States are designed for 13 years and younger. I get that put in, then it brings me to this screen. It says, welcome to Flipgrid. And so getting started is easy. Creating your grid, adding discussion topics, and so sharing with students. And so I'm going to go ahead and start my grid. Now, your grid is basically your class. So for us in choral music, it's your choir, right? And so I've got a mixed choir, so I'm going to make one mixed choir. Now, you've got three different types. The third, you're probably not going to use very much. The third is an educator learning community. Now, if you've got teachers in your school where you're collaborating with your teachers, that might be a reason why you would do that. But normally you're going to do one of these first two options, either the school email or the student ID. Now, the big difference with this is that with the school email, setting up accounts that way, sharing feedback with your students is a little bit easier. And so if you've got email addresses, Google school emails or Microsoft school emails that you can use for your students, I would recommend that. You can certainly still do it with the student IDs. It works just fine. It's just that sharing feedback with those individual students takes a little bit extra effort to do it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and select school email. I've got some email addresses for the students that I will add in. And then down here at the bottom, create a flip code. Now, this is the code that you will use when students want to join your grid. They want to join your class on Flipgrid. And so you can change this, but it does have to be something that's available. If it's already used in the Flipgrid environment, then you'll have to choose something else. For me, I'm just going to keep it as it is. So Walker 6831. And so that will be important to remember going forward, but don't worry, there'll be lots of different places where that will show up. And so I'm going ahead and hit next. And so here is school email. So entering the flip code and verifying their school email using Microsoft or Google. So in this case, you can add your school email if it's different from yours. So at something, right? I've got some email addresses that are just Gmail. So I'm going to see if it's going to let me know this at gmail.com. And just say 3 quick notes. A Microsoft or Google account is required. Again, same as for the teacher account. You can add multiple domains if educators and students have different domains. At my previous school, the teacher domains had teacher email addresses had one domain and the student emails had a different domain. So you could enter both of those in order to make sure that all of your students have access. And then all email domains added above will be able to access this grid. So if you've got a school email, at lincolnschools.org, by putting this in there, theoretically, any students with that at lincolnschools.org would be able to access it. But what's going to be specific to your class is that you're going to have that specific code to give them access. So it's not like all of the kids at your school are going to be hopping into your specific grid. So I think that's a little misleading. However, this will ensure that any student that you want to integrate into your grid, into your Flipgrid system, will be able to do that if you can add that in there. Or many of you where you don't have a dedicated sort of school email service, it's going to be creating a list of student IDs to join your grid. Okay, so this is the option that I'm going to start off first here. Now, here's where you can create your student list. Okay. Now, you've got a couple of different options. You can actually go through and enter students manually, or you can upload a spreadsheet, a CSV file, which lots of different spreadsheets, you can export things as a CSV file and upload that directly into Flipgrid. Now here says use this template CSV or manually add students below. So if I click on that, I'll just show you what it looks like. And it's a super basic spreadsheet template, right? First name, last name, and then the student ID. Okay. So you can fill out your spreadsheet and then upload that into Flipgrid. So if you've got your students already in a spreadsheet, all you have to do is add a 4-digit student ID and you can upload directly in there. Okay. So here, I'm just going to enter some names in manually. Okay, so for instance, let's say Anna Apple, and Anna is going to be 0001. And then how about Brady Banana 002. And you can certainly use whatever IDs you want. It calls it an identifier up here, but your student ID, if you've got different numbers that you want to do, you can certainly do that in there. Let's do Chris cucumber 003. And so then it says, okay, your list has been created. You can actually print each QR code individually or the entire list at once. So if you're someone that uses QR codes, you can print these. And so this is actually, let's cancel that for a second. It'll show the name of the student, the ensemble, and then the flip code 0003. So if they scan that, it's going to take them right to this grid, which is kind of a handy thing if you're using QR codes at all. Okay, you can then print a student list from here if you wish to. We're just going to go ahead and launch our grid. And so immediately it says your grid is ready. Yay, your grid is ready. And so then here you've got some options to share this and to get started. Now, first off, I'm going to copy that. And then you can embed that somewhere. So if you have a Google site or another website where you want to embed that code for your students, if you've got this in Canvas or Google Classroom in your classroom page where you want to embed that so that they can find it and have access to it, that's one way to do it. If you work in Microsoft Teams, there's Google Classroom. If you use the Remind system, this is something where then you can do a remind message and then paste that into the message, and then boom, it's right there for them. Okay, so and you can just if you've got email addresses, just copying it and putting it, pasting it in an email and sending it to your students that way. So now we are going to go to our new grid. So here we go. Here's our main page with mixed choir. Okay. So lots of different features here on this main page. My activity does just that, shows you my activity. And then we've got our my grids, which we're going to spend the majority of our time there today. Mixtapes. A mixtape is a place to showcase student videos. And so you can create a mixtape and add videos from any topic to build your custom playlist. You can take multiple videos from students, and just like our old mixtape, for those of you that are old enough to remember those, how you just kind of cut and paste those together onto a cassette tape. And so you're kind of doing the same thing here, and be able to feature some of those students and some of those really great responses. Grid Pals is a way to connect with fellow educators and classrooms. Disco Library. Disco Library is a huge library. I believe I read there's over 10,000 different topics that have already been done in the Flipgrid community. And you can do a search, and you can get in there and take a look at some of these and try to utilize something similar in your teaching. They've got things like vocabulary, conversations about race, equity, and justice, just conversation starters. I know there was a STEAM section, California State Parks. Oh, there's the STEM there. So lots of different things that you could potentially get into. So if you need some ideas to sort of get started, that's one place where you can start. And then shorts are just short little videos that you can record, and just things that are quick fun that you can share with anyone. So separate from any sort of topic or assessment, you can just go right in there and record. So back over here in my grids, and you can do a couple of different things. Now, if I click on this flip code, that's going to view it as a student. I don't want to do that quite yet, but there is my code that we just wrote down. So you've got that there. You also have the ability to share. And so if I click on that, again, similar options to what I had before, but there is the QR code option. And so that's something that you can utilize as well if you use QR codes. Different actions. You can edit your grid. You can add a copilot. A copilot is essentially a co-teacher. So you have two teachers that are co-teaching the same class. You can add in that, they call it the copilot, to help manage that Flipgrid grid. You can duplicate the grid. So that's an easy way. If you've got a lot of grids that are going to be similar and you want to create them quickly, that's an easy way to do that. And then you can get into grid notifications, Microsoft Teams integration, exporting data, and then you can delete the grid if you want to. But over here is our edit. And so I'm going to show you this here. So when you click on the edit icon there, several options here for you. Again, you could change the name if you wanted to. Here is your flip code again, where you could change that if you wanted to. You can even change the grid type again. Okay, and that email address, it shows all of that, shows the different features. Now you've got active or you've got hidden. Okay, and we'll get into hidden as a feature here in just a few minutes. Download and share. So you can allow students to download and share their videos after they create them. Captions, you can select a language for that. Notifications, you receive email notifications when new student videos are submitted. I would highly suggest the daily, maybe even the weekly. I would probably not do the every new video because that's going to drive you crazy. I think daily probably is the best option to keep up to date on all of that. And then grid followers allow students to receive email notifications when new topics are created and new videos are recorded. Yep, I want that because when I create a new topic, essentially topics are your assignments. They could be discussions, which is why they're called topics. But when I create a new assignment, a new topic, I want them to get a notification so that they know that it's there. Now you can personalize your grid a little bit. You can drop a photo, you can click to upload, or you can come down here and, lots of different options here. I'm just going to go back here to the featured. I kind of like this one here. Looks like like a sunset over the ocean almost. It's a really cool picture. So I'm going to take that. And then don't forget to hit update. And so then it takes me back to my grid and it has that already changed. So there it is. So here is sort of my grid. And again, if I see here, my grids and then mixed choir. So I'm in my mixed choir grid here. And once you create a grid, it immediately creates your first topic for you. Okay. So it's like, I didn't create this already. It will already appear automatically. Okay. So again, your topic is your assignment, your assessment, your project. It could just be a discussion. Those are your different topics. So grid is your class. Topic then is your assignment, your assessment, your project. Okay. Now I could go over here if I have lots of different topics here. I could go over here and select all of them and click on actions. And then I could activate them. I could hide them. I could freeze them. So hide is going to sort of totally take it so they're no longer visible. Freeze is just that. You're going to freeze that topic so there's no more actions taking place there, which also means that students can no longer submit. And so that's kind of nice if you have a deadline, like something needs to be completed by a certain time. You don't want it to disappear, but you can hit freeze on that and that will freeze that. So there's nothing else will be going into that. And then you can delete it if you want. Well, you don't want to do that just yet. Okay. Now active versus there's frozen and then there is hidden. Okay. I'm going to get to hidden in just a second, but those are your three options. Again, you can share this, same options as before. There is a topic guest mode, which makes it easy for guests such as parents, family members, where they can access then that specific topic so they could get in there and see that as well. And there is a specific code then to this topic. So if you're just sharing the topic, you could copy that and paste that wherever you needed to. Okay. And again, there's a few more actions here. You could go right to recording a response, adding your topic guests. You could add this to the Disco library once you had it finished if you wanted to make this accessible to other people. Again, duplicating it, there's moving it, and then also hiding it as well. We're not going to worry about those too much, but we do want to edit. So I'm going to click on that icon.
Now here again, you could change the name, the title of this. Okay, you could, so here's the prompt. Okay, this is essentially just the description of the topic, so giving them a written description of what they're going to be doing. So welcome to Flipgrid. Tap the green plus below to open the Flipgrid camera, then record a short video, and so you can say hello, share a fun fact about yourself. I want to add one more, so I'm going to type in here. Tell us your favorite TV show. Okay. And so then as I scroll down here, recording time. This is a wonderful option. Okay. And I would say take full advantage of this. You can go up to 10 minutes, but on something like this, if you put 10 minutes on there, students could then go on forever. And just realize that you are going to be going through and viewing all of these video responses. And so this recording time option is one of your best friends. And if they don't get it done the first time in a minute and 30 seconds, they can right there, they can go back and re-record it. Okay. And they will also know that time limit as well when they do that. So I think for this this video response, a minute and a half is great. Okay. Now, video moderation. This is a very important feature here. New videos will be hidden from students until you activate them. Previously submitted videos will remain active. So if someone submits something before you click on video moderation, then this will remain active. Now, for a lot of things, I think you're going to want to toggle that on. I don't necessarily need students to be able to see other students' responses, right? And something like this, I just want to be able to see it. And so I'm going to go ahead and toggle that on. Now, if you wanted to, if it's a brand new ensemble where all of the students are new to your school, if you're a 9 through 12 teacher and these are all ninth graders, you might leave that off so that students can go in and view those other videos. And you might have some projects where there's going to be some collaboration going on, or part of the assessment is your student will need to go in and comment on a certain number of videos, to get that interaction between students. And so then you would toggle this off. In this case, I'm not going to have students viewing any other students' videos, so I'm going to toggle that on. Okay. Now, the focus, I'm going to come back to this in just a second, but right now it's just this nice little hand waving hello. Now, topic tip. So if you've got an extra special tip on a topic that you want to add, you can type something in there. This is a really cool feature, topic attachments. So you can attach up to 9 external links. And so they must be a valid URL. So maybe there is a website, maybe there's a YouTube video that would accompany this. Google Docs. If you've got a Google Doc, well, you can get that share link and you can paste that right in here. If there is a Google Doc that sort of accompanies this topic, or if you've got a collaborative project and your students in small groups are collaborating on a Google Doc, well, they could then post that in there, something like that. So and that's on the student side as well, where they can put a link in there. And so that's a really cool feature there. And then you can just give that a title if you're attaching something in there. Now, topic status, as of right now, we are active and we will leave it active for now. Launch and freeze dates. So I'm launching this on 7:30, but then if I wanted to freeze that at a particular time on a particular date, I would just click on that and boom, I've got a calendar. So I'm only giving them 3 days to complete this. Then, I would click on the 3rd and then put in a time there as well. And so then at that time, it would then be frozen. Okay. So, video features. So, you've got a few different options. You can do selfies and videos, selfies only, videos only, or none. And so, if you're doing something other than that, you can put that in there as well. Video titles, students can add a title to their video, display the number of views a video has received. You can do that. Sticky notes. This allows students to add a little sticky note on their screen while they're recording. So then they can type something into that sticky note, and that helps them remind themselves what they want to talk about. But then that sticky note does not show up on the finished video then that they submit. It's a really cool feature. You'll see that here in just a little bit. Video editing, students can trim and rearrange video clips so they can move things around or trim. And that way they don't have to start totally over from scratch. If they kind of messed up in the middle, they can just kind of keep going and sort of restart, and then they can cut that out. And rather than just trashing the whole thing. Attachment link, you can allow students to include an external link. I was just talking about that. Likes, you can allow students to like other student videos. To me, there's just too much of a danger of this getting into a popularity contest. So I usually leave it off, but that's something that you could certainly do. Student to student replies. Now, if this is something where you've got in the moderation where this isn't toggled on, where videos are not going to be hidden, then you also have this option as well. It's kind of one step further. Not having that toggled will allow them to see it. Here, you can allow students to reply via video to another student. Now, you would have to have that up here toggled off and for them in order for them to do that. And so I've got that turned on. I'm just going to turn this off anyway. But that's something where if they're hidden, they're not going to be able to do that, replying to other videos anyway. Now, giving feedback. Okay, there's a couple of different things, couple different options that are here. You've got basic feedback and then custom feedback. So basic feedback, it's already listed here, right? You've got ideas and you've got performance. Now, if you want to do something, again, I like the word, a little bit more custom. Okay, so I have already created these here as criteria. And so you can see here, I'm going to leave both of those in. Now say I'm going to just click on this to show you what this screen looks like. So intro video production, you can put in your description. Students will receive points based on their ability to utilize the different features of the Flipgrid camera. And then there's a minimum score and a maximum score. And so then here with the intro video response, so that was more of utilizing the technology. And here, this is about responding to the prompt that I put in. So student will be assessed based on including the items listed in the prompt. So they need to answer those 3 questions in order to get their 5 points. Okay, and you can certainly add more in there, but this helps you define, as it says, define a new feedback rubric, which can then be applied at the topic level, just a little bit more specific than the basic one that they have here. So I'm going to hit custom, and then as I scroll down, you can save this, so changes to your default settings. And so if you've got sort of a lot of topics that will be sort of similar, you can certainly do that, but do remember to hit update. And so then once you hit update, it's going to take you right to that topic. And so here it is, say hello on Flipgrid. So welcome to Flipgrid, tap the green plus below to open the Flipgrid camera, then record a short video, and you can say hello, share a fun fact about yourself, and then tell us your favorite TV show. Okay. And so then you've got the different responses there will eventually be listed there. And that is it as far as the teacher view goes. Now let's go back into this. because I want to show you the focus here and these options here. So this is just, just little hello, little hand waving. So I'm going to delete that. Yes, I want to delete it. And now this shows you all the different options that you have. So you can link to all of these different things. I'm not going to show a whole lot of these today, but we will do something where we're uploading an image. We can even do and upload a video from your desktop just so you can see what that's like. But really what a lot of them that I like to do is record a video. And so I'm going to click on this and show you what this is going to look like. So here is the screen where you can then record a video. And so it tells you, as a teacher, you've got 10 minutes to record your video. And here's the sticky note that I was talking about, right? And so that pops up, and I can get rid of it if I want to. And I can move this all around. And so I'm going to remind myself of the things that I want to talk about. So number one is say hello. Number two is going to be a fun fact. And then number three is favorite TV show. And I'm just going to leave that right there. Now, some different options. So down here, you've got some filters. Okay. And so you can kind of change the color. This one is called Pixel. And so if you've got some students that are really sort of self-conscious, this can actually be helpful because they feel like that, adds a little bit of extra layer of security there. But I'm just going to clear all those off. You can add text. So let's see. How about Mr. Walker? I'll just do my name there. Okay, so students can see that. I'll pop it up there in the top. And then there's some different options there too. You can change the color, the background, the stroke, the font, all of that sort of different stuff. There are stickers, and so you've got some. You can again scroll along here. Lots of different little emojis, right? I'm going to use this guy. You can see he's recently used, kind of my favorite. And so I'm going to put him over here. And again, for those self-conscious singers, they can put one of these emojis on their screen and they can just cover themselves up. And so as they're doing their recording, they actually don't have to look at themselves. Some students that makes them anxious. Well, there you go. And you don't have to worry about other people looking at them specifically either. So nice little added feature. And then you've got the ability to draw, you've got a whiteboard, you've got other photo stickers, so lots of different options here. If I click on the three dots, one of the big features here is screen recording. And so you're able to do a screencast now in Flipgrid. It used to be that you had to do sort of an app smash, screencastify in conjunction with Flipgrid. And you don't have to do that anymore. It's right here in Flipgrid where you could do a screencast, which is really cool. And you can still add the video clip, audio, recording your video with audio, that sort of thing. But we're going to focus on the main feature of making a recording here. And again, it gives you another option to upload if you want to. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and record my video, which will then go into the topic. So here we go. Hey everyone, it's Mr. Walker here. I'm so excited to get started with you this semester. On this first topic, I just want you to introduce yourself a little bit. And so going through the prompt and answering those three questions or doing those three things. And also, I want you to play around with the features in this a little bit. So you can play around with the filters, you can add some text, you can add some emojis, play around with the features a little bit and just kind of get used to all of the different options here in the Flipgrid camera. But, as an example, I'll do my little introduction here. So as I said, I'm Mr. Walker. A fun fact about me, I actually don't have a sense of smell. I never have, even as a little kid, I can remember never having a sense of smell. So it's just one of those sort of fun facts. Came in really handy when my kids were little and I had to change diapers. And my favorite TV show is a show called Expedition Unknown. It's on the Discovery Channel and the Travel Channel. This guy, Josh Gates, he travels all over the world to all of these cool places and does these like little investigations, like archaeological sites and things like that. Like he's been to the Egypt, to the pyramids. He's been to Stonehenge and just some really cool places, but you learn a lot of the history associated with these places as well. So those are my three little things. And so again, I'm super excited to get started this semester with all of you. And so make sure that you do your intro video so I can learn a little bit more about you. All right, we'll talk to you soon. So then once I hit on next, that's the end of my video. Okay. And so then you get to some different options here. Now you can actually add more if you want to. So you can go back and add more. I don't necessarily need to do that. I would like to sort of see, hey everyone, it's about maybe editing. So if I wanted to cut some of this down, I could take this little arrow and slide this over. And so when it slides over and I hit play, it's going to play in that exact spot where it's going to start where I have that. So as I said, I'm Mr. Walker. So I could take out all that beginning stuff if I wanted to. Okay. And let's say I didn't like the end. And so I could do pull that in a little bit, and you can see how this is being altered as well. So again, when I hit play, it's going to show me what that video, so I can learn. Okay. But I like my original video, so I'm going to go back and pull that all the way back. And then I don't want to delete it. I could delete it and start over if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I'm good with this. This is good to submit and add this into the topic. So I'm going to hit confirm. And so then it's going to give me one more opportunity here. Again, if I wanted to add more, if I wanted to move things around, you can see the hand there. I could. It's like, nope, I'm good. So I'm going to hit next. And so now it's going to ask me to take a selfie. And so this is the picture that's going to go into the little thumbnail there in Flipgrid when students see the topic. And so I can go in here. And there we are. There is my there's my selfie. Now I can redo that if I want. It's fine. And so there we go. And so I hit next. And so now it is going to prepare the video. And here we go. Congrats. Yay. And it says at any time you can delete or redo the topic video from the settings page. Okay, so you can go back and do that. I'm going to hit complete. And you can see here in the focus now that video has entered in. Okay. Now I want to make sure that that's saved. And so I'm going to make sure I hit update topic. So once I hit update topic, it takes me right to that topic page. And here it is. So I could click on that and watch that if I wanted to. Okay. Say hello on Flipgrid. Here we are now in the student view of the grid for our mixed choir. And so then as you scroll down, you will find the topics in this grid. And so the most recent topic is going to be here at the top. We just have the one topic right now. And so here we are, say hello on Flipgrid. When you have more, there's going to be a drop-down menu over here on the side. And so you will be able to then click and then select a specific one. Now, one option I wanted to point out is the immersive reader option. And so if you click on this little blue icon, so this does a number of things, right? And so it will blow this up. And so if you have someone that needs text to be larger, it's a lot easier for them to read, okay? If I hit the play button.
Welcome to Flipgrid. Tap the green plus below to open the Flipgrid camera.
It's going to actually go through and read that for them. And so, if you've got some students that need that assistance, it is there, which is a really cool thing. And there's some different voice settings in there. Text preferences. If you click in there, you can totally change the text. If that wasn't big enough, you can change that. Or if size of the text isn't as much of an issue. If you need to increase the spacing, you can do that as well. Or you can just turn that off. I'm going to turn that back on. I like to have that was increased. You could change the font. There's some different themes, right? This is the light theme. Ooh, there's the dark theme. Okay, so you can do that. There's lots of different colors there. And so lots of different options there. Grammar options where it's got syllables. So if I click on that, it's got words where it's going to then separate those into syllables. So as I hit play.
Camera. Then, record a short video and waving hand say, hello. Starstruck share a fun fact about yourself.
And so it's still going to go through and highlight each word. I just laugh at how it describes the emojis as you're going through it. Right. So that breaks some of those words down with the syllables, right? Parts of speech. You can change the colors in here if you don't like them. I want to, and it just toggled that on. So it's going to highlight all of the nouns, right? Highlighting the verbs and going into that. Okay, so that's got some cool features as well. And then also reading preferences, line focus. And so if I turn this on, it's going to focus on that one line of text, right? Now it could then show 3 lines of text. You do have the option of then showing 5 lines. So you can change that focus a little bit. Picture dictionary, they've got that option in there. Translation. So if you have students where you need to translate things, oh my goodness, that's wonderful. You can do it by word, you can do it by document. So, get in here and play with this a little bit if you've got some students that need some assistance on this end of things, but that is a really cool feature that teachers, I think, will really find valuable. Okay. And so we're back here in our grid. And so I'm ready to do my recording. So I'm going to click on the green plus sign. So now here it tells the student you have 1 minute, 30 seconds to record your video. And it's also got the timer up here in the top corner of the screen. If they forget what the prompt said or the topic, they can actually click on this. And so it says, it gives them the screenshot of that. So okay, say hello, fun fact, tell us your favorite TV show. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to forget that. So I'm going to do my sticky note. So say hi, fun fact, TV show. Okay, I'm going to put that there. And then let's see, I'm going to do a little retro filter here and then text. I'm going to do this and I'll do my name. So put that down here in the corner. And then let's maybe go in here. And we're feeling kind of goofy, so I'm going to put this guy right up here. And again, you've got all sorts of little different options here. If you wanted to mess around with him, you wanted to take him, you want to rotate him, that kind of thing. Okay, there we go. All right, and again, the same options here. So screencasting, add a video clip. Okay, but we're good with just doing a recording. And so here's now the student doing a recording. Hey, Mr. Walker, this is Matt, just doing my intro recording here. So I'm just saying hi, and a fun fact about myself. I really like bananas for breakfast and banana bread, especially. And that's something that a lot of people don't know about me. And then number 3, TV show. My favorite TV show is the Power Rangers growing up. I used to watch it all the time, and now it's on Netflix, which is really cool. So yeah, there's my 3 things for my video. Talk to you later. Hey, Mr. All right, so now you've got the same sort of editing options in this screen as the teachers did as well. Okay, so I'm not going to do any of that. We're just going to go right straight through. And then the selfie. And so then this will show up in the student response. So there we go. And so there's my selfie. And again, they can redo it, but I'm good. And so now it's closing all up. And so it's going to be completed. And so we will then go back into the teacher screen here in just a second. And I'll show you then what this response looks like and then how you do feedback on the assignment. Okay, so again, it's got my display name on there, so the student can change their name if they want to. They can put in a title. If there's a link that they want to send back to the teacher, then they can do that as well. But I'm good. I'm just going to submit that. Congrats, yay! And so now it says your video is hidden until approved by your educator, because again, we did this topic with the moderation on, so we don't have to worry about any other students seeing it. The student will also not see their own video. However, they can go to my.flipgrid.com and they can go in and then see their video that way, but it's not going to show up here in the standard Flipgrid system. There is, however, a direct link to the video, so they could click on that and share that if they wanted to. They could download a QR code. They could actually download the video if they wanted to, or if they really like the selfie, they could download that too. There we go. So I'm going to hit complete, video submitted. And then it says your video will be hidden until approved by your educator. But this way the student knows that their video has gone through and that it has been submitted. Okay. So now let's go over to the teacher side of things and see what this looks like. Okay, so we're back over here in the teacher grid. Here's mixed choir, right? So I'm going to tap on this and I go to my one topic and I can see already, it's already shown up, and there is our thumbnail, one video plus the pinned topic, right? So I'm going to click on this. And so here is our original topic that we did. And now down here is our response. Now it shows up as hidden again, because we have the moderation on. Now, if I wanted to watch this first, and then if the content was appropriate, then I wanted to allow other students to be able to see that, then I could click on this and then I could change it to active. But this is something where I just want to be able to see it kind of for my own benefit. So I'm just going to leave that as hidden. But now I'm going to click on that and we're going to take a look at this video. All right, so I'm going to talk about a couple of things before we actually look at the video here, which actually you already saw it, so that's not going to be a big surprise here. So different things that you can do. You can what they call leave a vibe. And so if you click on this, it switches over here. And so then, anything that you type in here is going to go to this little screen here. So, great video. There it is. Okay. And so now I can see my student name. All right. And there's my student's display name. And then there is the email address that the student logged in with and accessed our grid. So we know that that's what that is. And then you could do a title for the response if you wanted to. You can even update the link for this response if you wanted to. So all we're going to do is we're just going to update response. And now we're going to do a couple of other things here. Now, I could go and share this if I wanted to. Again, there's another share link and copy that. And there's some different, again, the different options there in the QR code. I'm going to go back to this feedback. And again, the video feedback would only be available to the student. So I can do just written feedback, or I can actually do a video response to this. Now, if you really liked it and it's something that you wanted to highlight, this is especially nice if other students are able to see the videos, you can star that as sort of a feature response. And so for those students that go above and beyond. And there's some little things like sparking a video, which sends that to sort of the top of the list for students to see. You can adding that to the mixtapes. So we talked a little bit about before. Viewing as a student. So there's that code. So if you could click on that, that would show you the student view there. I really like the video production of this. So it's going to be a 5, and the video response in is also going to be a 5. So I can say, great video, Matt. I really like banana bread for breakfast too. And add a little smiley face. Okay. So then I could then be done, right? And then it says share feedback. Students can visit my.flipgrid.com to view the feedback. You can also email or copy the link directly to students. So you can email. So if I click on email, that email is sent then directly to, or that feedback is sent directly to their email. That's why the email address there is important, because that's the email address that they access your grid with, but then that's where they're going to receive that as well. So I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. And so then we are all done there. So I'm going to go ahead and X that out. And so then we're just back to the screen where we started out. And now let's go over and go to the student perspective, and you can see what it looks like from over there. Okay, so I'm over at my.flipgrid.com, and that is where students can then go and using their email address, log in, and they can see the feedback that you have left for them. Because if I go over to our grid and the student view over there, you'll see that there's no response there. And the reason why that is, again, is because we are having this topic moderated. So you won't see any of the student responses there. However, by the student going to my.flipgrid.com and logging in with their email address, this takes us to our main page, and you can see here, oh, here's my video. Yeah, there's my video. And so there's the grid. You can see the different views, and then, oh, there's a reply. And so I can look at that feedback. And there's other actions there too. I could download that if I wanted to. Okay. But we're not going to. But I do want to see the feedback. Hey, Mr. Walker, so now I can watch that video again, and then I can see educator feedback. And so here it is. Oh, well, I got 5 out of 5 and 5 out of 5. And then there's that great video, Matt. I really like banana bread for breakfast too. So there is that option as well. So I've left the student feedback already, but say I want to do video feedback. I'm going to go up here and it says this video will only be available to the student. So I'm going to click on there. And here I am back in the video screen. Now it does say it's back to you have 10 minutes to record your video. We're not going to need 10 minutes, right? But let's do a quick video response to the student. Hey, Matt, I just wanted to tell you I really enjoyed your video, and I agree with you. For breakfast, I really enjoy banana bread as well, and really thought it was cool that you like the Power Rangers. I noticed that they've done some new versions of Power Rangers on Netflix now, so the new generation of Power Rangers. So that's awesome. Nice job on your video, and we'll see you in class. Have a good day. Hey, Matt, so the video is great. And so I'm just going to go ahead. Here's my selfie. There we are. And so I hit next. And so now it's going to prepare that. And so now what we'll do is we will go back and we will look at this from the student perspective. And so we'll see how this shows up for them, both in their my.flipgrid.com as well as with their email. Yay, congrats. Feedback can be emailed or copied and shared with your student. Complete. All right, so you can see now where it's got the view feedback video. So that's there. I can even download that if I want to. I have emailed that feedback to the student. So we will go in a second to that email and you can see what that looks like. But for a second, let's go back over to our grid. And so I'm going to refresh this. And get back into the student view here. Now, as you can see, it still says 0 responses. You see 2 views, but still says 0 responses. Again, because the topic is being moderated, so you will not see it there. However, you will see it over in my Flipgrid. So let me show you that. Okay, so now we're over in my.flipgrid.com in the student view. Again, they have logged in with their email, and then they can see, oh, here's their list of videos that they've done. And so then here's their video, and then they can see that there's a reply, so that they reply and that there's feedback. So they click on that and they click view. Hey, Mr. Walker. So here is the video. So they're going to scroll down and they can see 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5. There's my comment. And now you can also watch the video feedback too. So you can click on there. Hey, Matt, I just wanted to tell you I really enjoyed your video. And so then there is the educator feedback from there. Okay, so it's all there. It's all private. It's not anything else that other students are going to see. And so it's really nice that you have that option to give the student that great specific feedback. Okay, and I agree. And so now the next thing that I will show you is what that looks like in the email. All right, so here we are over in the email. And so you can see educator feedback. You have new feedback from your educator. And so you can see, oh, there's the screenshot. And so then again, here's the points, and then there's the comments, and then you can also, again, view that in my Flipgrid and then view that in Grid as well. And so when I click on that, there is that hey, Matt, I just want that private video that I sent them. So just by clicking on that in the email, it goes right into that as well. So they can access it through the my.flipgrid.com, and they can also access it through their email. It's another huge benefit of having students having access to school email addresses. It just makes the feedback portion a lot simpler for us, takes out a few extra steps. And so, yeah, and so it goes right to the student. Awesome, good to go. Well, now that you've seen sort of this introduction to how an assignment works, both from the teacher perspective and then also the student perspective, how to do that feedback, let's now go and do a couple of different types of assessments of topics in Flipgrid.
All right, so I just wanted to stop here really quick. This is a good stopping point just to kind of check and see how everybody is doing and making sure that we've covered any of these questions. I kind of been trying to respond to some questions as these have been going on. So, but this is kind of a good spot. Kind of wanted to just take you through that whole process of creating that topic, creating that assignment, showing you what it looks like from the student perspective, and then also how teachers give that feedback, and then how students can access that feedback. So it's the my.flipgrid.com, or they can also then access that through an email if you've got older students that are using email addresses. And so if you've got any questions, feel free to pop them into the comments at this point. Otherwise, we will go ahead and we will cover some more specific assignments here. I did want to just mention a couple of those things that have changed. So like the grid now has become the group. That's your class, right? So if you've got multiple choirs, you're going to have a group for each of those classes. The disco library, that's the discovery. I think I mentioned that. I spent quite a bit of time on the moderation and sort of that hidden versus active. When I first started with this, I found that kind of confusing. And I think there's going to be specific topics where like singing assignments where you're not going to want other students to have access to that. But then you're going to have other sort of more discussion topics where you want to give students the opportunity to comment on other student videos and actually make that part of the assignment, part of that that assessment. So wanted to sort of really make sure that I'm clear on that description on that. Going back through here, do you ever use the whiteboard for assignments? I have to say I haven't used it a whole lot, but I know others that do. And so I think that's, it's not something that I'll go into today as far as the features. Today, I just wanted to kind of do the nuts and bolts. And so everything that you're going to get today is going to allow you to get started on day one. You're going to know everything that you're going to need to know as far as creating topics, getting your students started, helping your students then complete those and access that system. So some of those other bells and whistles I didn't quite get to in the material today, but the whiteboard is one of those. I think definitely get in there and check that out. And if that's something that people are interested in, I'm continuing to work on different resources with Flipgrid. And so that's something where I could do just a short, quick video tutorial and either paste that in the Facebook group or over on the YouTube channel so that you all could see that. So some of those ideas, kind of write those down. And then those are the things that I want to hear from you as far as like emails, because that gives me then ideas of what you all need. I want this to be about what you all need so that, you can get started with this amazing system. Please tell me we can view this later. Yes, I'm going to send everyone that registered, I'm going to send you an email. Probably wait till tomorrow or maybe later tonight after I get the kiddos to bed. But I will send you an email with those replay links, and then those will last. Those won't ever go away. And then that's something where if you want to then pause the video, I'm trying to get through a lot of material. I tend to talk fast, but you can pause the video and then write things down and make notes, or even go through and, if you want to, take screenshots of some of these things to help you remember, if you're a visual learner, to help you remember how to do some of these things. Okay. Let's see. Can singers sing simultaneously together with no lag? I'm afraid they can't, not with this system. But for some of you that are interested in like a virtual choir project, you can use this system where the kids singers can download their singing videos with Flipgrid. And then you can download those and then incorporate that into whatever software, because it's an MP4 file. So that is a possibility. Okay. So we'll get into that in the end. Someone had a question about downloading videos. We'll do that at the very end. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to continue to watch the comments, but I want to get into some of these more specific assignments because these are the ones I think will be great to start off with, and some things that will help you sort of flip that classroom a little bit and have your kids do more singing at home if you can't or don't want to do the singing in person. And it's also something where once we are back to normal, you can use all of this stuff for assessment purposes and to give you data as far as informing your own instruction. That's a very powerful thing, and it's one of the great things to use Flipgrid for. Okay, all right. So here we go. I'm going to. Oh, sorry. I'm going to share my screen again. I'll move my mic away, and we'll get into these specific assignments. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so here we are in our grid, and I'm going to show you how to do a topic where you are working on repertoire with your students, with your singers. So maybe you want your singers to sing an excerpt from your repertoire. So we're going to add a topic where we can do that. So adding a topic, and so let's say I'm doing Morton Lordson's Sure on This Shining Night. Okay, so what I will do is I will put Shining Night, and then I'm going to say tenor. And so then the prompt is going to be sing the opening measures of Sure on This Shining Night. I don't have the music in front of me. I'm just going to sing a little excerpt just to give you an example. Recording time, 1 minute, 30 seconds. That's going to be plenty because I'm just going to do a short little excerpt, but you could change that. Video moderation, I'm going to turn that on. And I'm going to scroll down here. And I think that's all that I want here, but I'm going to record a video. And so I will click on that. Okay, and here we are in the video recorder. And so I'm just going to record this little bit for the tenors. Okay, tenors, here are the opening measures of Sure on This Shiny Night. So you can sing along with me. There's your starting note. 1, 2, 3, and sure on this shining night of star-made shadows round, kindness must watch for me this side the ground. And there you are. Once you've got a good video, make sure that you submit it. Thanks, tenors. And it looks good. I don't need to do any video editing or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And then here's my selfie, of course. There we are. Beautiful. And then I hit next. Okay, success. Yay, complete. Okay, so now I'm back here. And so I've got everything pretty much the way that I want it now. Now I need to remember to create topic. Okay, so I'm going to go and do that. And your topic is ready. If you just wanted to share that specific topic, you can do that. I'm just going to keep on going here. So now that is all set. So if I go back to mixed choir and I go down, now I see the second topic now here is listed, Shiny Night Tenors. Okay, so now let's go over to the student perspective, and we're going to record our responses from there. And then we're also going to look at how we are downloading the videos. Here we go. So I'm here on the student side of the grid, and so you can see where now the new topic has shown up. I can look at the other ones if I so choose. So that lets you toggle between the different topics. So now I'm going to go in and record my response. Now, the first thing I would do as a student is I would go in and play this video and practice and sing along with it. Now, the idea is that you are going to record this response while listening to this video that the teacher has posted. Now, you can do both at the same time if the student is using earbuds. So when the device is recording them through their webcam or through their phone, whatever they're using, it's just going to record them singing and that audio. They will be listening to the audio of the original video while they record, if that makes sense. So how this is going to work on a laptop is I'm just going to duplicate this tab. Okay, so now I've got essentially two of the same, right? And so now what I'm going to do is in this second tab, I'm going to play the original video. And in the first tab is where I'm going to record my response or my little excerpt. So when I record on that, now it's not going to start until I click on the record button. So I'm going to go over to my second tab, hit play, and then come back here and hit record. And as long as I have my earbuds in, it's just going to record me singing. It won't record the audio from that previous, from the guide track, as I like to call it. Okay, so here's my teacher video. Okay, tenors, here are the opening measures of Sure on This Shiny Night. So you can sing along with me. There's your starting note. 1, 2, 3, and sure on this shiny night of star-made shadows round, kindness must watch for me this side the ground. And there you are. Once you've got a good video, make sure that you submit it. Thanks, tenors. And so now I'm done. So I listened to the video while I was singing. So the students have someone singing the part with them. And so now I'm ready to submit. So I go over and hit next. Again, I don't need to review it. So I'm going to hit next. And so here's my selfie. There we are. And so then when I hit next, it will upload my video and then it is off to my teacher. So I've gone through, I've made the original guide video. Put shining night, beginning, and hit submit, and there it goes. And so what I've done is I've listened to the original video from my teacher. I've practiced, and then I've gone in and recorded the response and used that original video to sing along with. So I'm not having to sing a cappella. Okay, because again, as long as you've got your earbuds in, it's not going to record anything from that original video. It's going to just record your video that you're recording with your own audio. Easy squeezy lemon peasy. Okay, so I'm back in my mixed choir grid from the teacher side of things, and I can see Shiny Night Tenor. The one response is there. So I'm going to go in and take a look. Here's my response. And so then I could go in and listen to that video if I need to. Obviously, you've seen it, so we don't need to do that. So there's the details. I could share that. Again, there's lots of actions to that I could do. Nothing that I want to do just yet. I'm going to go in and do some feedback. And so again, we've got the old rubric that was in there from before, so I would need to go in and edit that. So here's back into my topic. And so you've got all these other options which you have seen. So I'm going to scroll all the way down, and here is the feedback. So I want to update this. So I've got custom feedback again selected here, but now I've got 4 different categories. So I have put in pitch, rhythm, vocal tone, and then musicality. So I've got all of those checked because I want those in my new rubric. And so each one I have just labeled 5 points. Again, you're going to have your own rubric and your own descriptions and how you want to balance the points and things like that. But I have, in the topic, I have gone into the feedback section and made sure that I have changed those as well. And so then I'm going to update that topic. And so then now I'm back here at the responses and I go into the response. And so again, here is the video. And so then when I want to go in and give feedback, I simply click here and here we are. And so assuming I've already watched the video, I'm going to say, he did a really good job. So I'm going to give a 5 there, 4.5 on pitch, a 5 for rhythm, and a 4.5 on vocal tone. And so then I will say, great job, Matt. Make sure you try to keep your throat open on those low notes. Watch the pitches in the very last phrase. There are some difficult intervals there. Okay. And again, I'm working with emails, so I would simply say I'm going to email that feedback. However, before I do that, I want to record this private feedback to the student. So not only am I giving some written feedback, I'm going to do that recording. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Hey, Matt, great job with this first excerpt in Sure on This Shiny Night. I know as a tenor myself, going into the end of that last phrase, it gets a little low. So try to keep that throat open and try to keep that sound forward so it doesn't get stuck in the back of your throat. And then just watch those intervals. Ba, 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 ba. Watching those intervals on that last phrase, those are really tricky. Overall, fantastic job. You've got a really good grasp of this beginning. Way to go. And so then I'm going to hit next. Hey, Matt, great job with this. And I don't need to review. I'm happy with that. And so here's my selfie. It's like, yes. Awesome. And so then I'm going to upload that. And that's going to take just a second. And we're going to get that in there. And so now complete. So it's going to take me back to my feedback. So now I've got the video feedback and I've got my rubric in there and then I've got my private comments. So now is where I'm going to click on that email. And so then that feedback is sent off to the students so they can access that in their email. So that's how all of that looks. Okay, we're back here in the teacher side of things, and now I'm going to show you how to do a sight reading assessment using a screencast. Now, screencasting is a fairly new feature to Flipgrid. There are lots of different applications for this. You know, maybe you're going through a music theory lesson and you want to record your screen, and using musictheory.net. Maybe you're going through information on a certain choral composer where there's a website, and so you want to record yourself going through that. Lots of different applications. And there are a couple of different ways you could do a sight reading example, but I think this is a really a great way to do it. So I'm going to add a topic. And so I will type in sight reading number 1, adding a question. Sing the example given using solfege. Students will be assessed on accuracy of pitch, rhythm, and solfege syllables. Oh, there we go. So on the recording time, I'm probably going to leave it at 2 minutes here. That's probably enough time. I do want the video moderation on, so I will click there, and then I'm going to go down here, and I've clicked on the other options just to get down here, and I want to do custom feedback. So 5, 5, and 5, so it'll be 15 points. So I'm going to select all of those. I want all of those in there. And then now I'm going to go back up here, and this is where I want to record my video. So I click on this. So here I am in the recording feature. And so I'm going to click on options, the 3 dots here, and here is record screen. So that is the option that I want. So I'm going to click on that. And so here is start screen recording. So I now have my sight reading example in a photo form, in a JPEG format on my computer. And so I have that pulled up. It's just behind this window. And so when I open this up, you can't share your whole screen, or since I already have that opened up, you click on application window and you can see here is sight reading excerpt. So then when it records, it will record that excerpt for you. So I'm going to click on that and click share. And so now my recording is going. And when I'm done, I'm going to click here on the stop sharing button. Now, first thing I would do is I want my students to be given a pitch, right? In case they don't have a pitch pipe app or some way to get that starting pitch. So I have my own pitch pipe here on my phone. And so I'd get that. And so I would sing for them. Here is your do, mi, so, do. And at this point, I would say, go ahead and hit pause, and you may go over to your other window and submit your recording. And then they're going to go back and do their recording in a separate tab. Okay, so I'm going to stop this just so that we can finish this up, and then we can see the recording is going. And when I'm done, I'm going to click here on, so then you can see what this will look like from the student perspective. Okay, so here it is. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. So that's it. I've done the screencast. I've got that sight reading example in there, loaded up easily. So now let's go over to the student side of things and see how they are going to then complete this assignment. Okay, so here I am on the student side of things over in the grid for mixed choir. And so here is now the sight reading number 1, right? If I go up here, I can see the other topics there, but this is the one that I want. And so just like my video recording, I'm going to go up and duplicate this tab. Okay, so now I've got my 2 tabs here, right? And so the second one is where I'm going to go in and play this video. Okay, so I'm going to now go and record a response. And then after I do that, I'm just going to go back to that window so that I can sing off of that. So I can record a response. Okay, here I am. And so I'm going to quickly hit record. I'll probably go back and I would play that again just to make sure that there's my starting note. Do, ti, do, re, mi, so, la, so. And so the student would then sing through the excerpt, and when they come back, when they get finished, they come back and they record that. Now, while I was going back and forth between those 2 tabs, it was recording just this view. So let's take a look at that. Do, ti, do, re, mi. So it's not recording that screen. It is recording the student singing that excerpt, even though they are looking at a different window. So say they want to submit that, they're good to go. And there we go. And so I could even put in, if I wanted here, sight reading number 1, submit. Done. And so then it's completed and it is over in the teacher grid, just like the other examples for the teacher then to go in and give feedback just like you normally would. So that is how you use a screencast, and also how you can do a sight reading example in Flipgrid.
All right, real quick, I just wanted to see if there's any questions on either of those two, because I know a lot of people would want to use those, both the repertoire assessment and practice, and then also anything sight reading. There's actually lots of different ways you could do a sight reading. Like you could just upload that picture directly into the topic and have them do it that way. But I also wanted to show you how that screencast works from the teacher perspective, and just being very clear with them about how they can watch that teacher video, whether you're playing their part or whether you're singing their part, doesn't really matter, but they can listen to that sort of that guide track, that guide video with their part, and then record their own at the same time. And as long as they have their earbuds in, it's not going to take any of that audio off of that original recording. So I wanted to try and show that as clearly as I can, because I think that's a really powerful way to use Flipgrid, especially for us choir directors. And there's no more, oh, I don't know how to practice. How do I practice? There's really no excuse, right? You're providing those parts for them. So whether it's piano or whether it's vocally. So a great way to help them practice, a great way to for you to do an assessment and to gather that very valuable data on how your singers are doing. And then the sight reading, you can use Sight Reading Factory or whatever sight reading. You can create your own, whatever sight reading resource that you use, and just incorporating that in there as well. But the screencasting, there's so many different things that we could do with that. Musictheory.net, if you wanted to do a theory unit. And so each video could be you talking through the slideshow presentations that they have there on their website, each of those lessons. And so just a lot of different ways that you could incorporate that into your teaching. So, okay, well, I don't see any questions, so I'm going to continue on. So here we go.
Okay, back here in the teacher side of things in Flipgrid, and now I want to show you how you might do a discussion topic. So I'm going to add a topic. Now, at the same time, I'm also going to show you how you add a video here with YouTube. We're going to try this as far as our media this time. So we'll kill two birds with one stone here. So, and I'm going to do something on Eric Whitaker and the virtual choir. So for the title, I'll put virtual choir discussion. Okay. And for the prompt, it will be watch the interview with Eric Whitaker on his most recent virtual choir, and then record a short video. And so then number one, let's say, what do you think would be the challenges of putting together a virtual choir? And number two, we'll make it a short video. Number two, why do you think you might like to participate in a virtual choir. Okay, so just 2 quick questions that students then could answer with a video. And again, then record a short video. Okay, and let's give them 2 minutes. Okay, now here with video moderation, I am not going to turn this on. Okay, so as videos will not be hidden, they will be able to see other videos. Okay, and so now I'm going to click on add a video, and so I've already copied the link, so I'm going to paste that in and then hit next. And so there is my video in duration 720. Okay, and so I'm going to add that in. And so then that shows up there in my media. Okay, now more options. This is going to be an important part of this, since students will be able to look at and comment on other students' videos. Okay, this one allows students to download and share after creating their video. I'm going to leave that on. Selfies and videos, we're going to keep that consistent. Yes, allow students to reply via video to another student. So that's going to be on there. I'm not going to turn the likes on, but we do want the video comments on there. And students can still use the editing and can still use the sticky notes. Okay, and then down here on the feedback, I'm going to click on custom feedback. I don't want any of these here. I'm going to add a couple. So video prompt, both questions from the prompt are answered. And so you've got 5 points there. I also want students to go in and collaborate and really comment on another student's response. And so student will comment on at least one other student video. Now, I would not suggest letting them choose who that student is. I think there are ways that you can assign, whether it's just alphabetically and the person comments on the next student that their name is after them alphabetically. You can choose them to partner up. You can choose, just specific students. You just don't want to get into a situation where one student is not receiving any responses. So every student has one other student that they are commenting in on their video. And so then that's going to be 5 points as well. And so I've got my collaboration, I've got my video prompt, and I am good to go as far as creating that topic. Now I'm actually going to go back up here and then add in, I want to make this part of my prompt. When you are finished, make sure you go in and respond to your partner's video as well. Just so we got that in the prompt, just to remind our singers that to do that, and create topic. And so we are all set. So now if I go back into MX Choir, and so here is a virtual choir discussion. Okay, so now let's go over and take a look at this from the student perspective and how they're going to complete this assignment. Okay, so here I am over in the student side of Flipgrid, and here is my virtual choir discussion. So watching the interview with Eric Whitaker, you can see that prompt there, and I'm glad I put that reminder in there about collaborating on another video. Okay, so now is where I can go in and click on this, and so now this video pops up. all together now. Now, say I've done that and I want to go in and record a response. Hello, Mr. Walker. I really enjoyed the video with Eric Whitaker. I think the technology aspect would be really challenging of putting all of those videos together. And I think I would like to try to be in a virtual choir sometime just because I would like the challenge of doing it. But the thought of being able to sing with people all over the world and having my video as part of that project, I think that would be really cool. So I've completed this. I'm going to go ahead and just fast forward and submit. Oh, there's my selfie. And so I can put virtual choir here and then submit. Boom, it's done. So now once that is done, I'm going to show you then how students will go in and then respond to another student's video. Okay, so here we are on the student side of things again, and this time I want to see as a student, I can go in and comment on another student's response. Okay, so as I scroll down, sure enough, here's a student response. And so I can click on that. Hello. And so now I could go through and listen to that. And now I'm going to do a comment. So you can either do that by adding a comment or you can also record a response. Either way. So add a comment. And so here we are. And I'm just going to change this just so I can kind of tell the videos apart a little bit. Here is my filter. I'm green with my green shirt. Okay. Hey, Matt, I really like your response to the video, and I agree with you. I think it's really cool, the thought of being able to sing with people all over the world. Okay, so I'm done. I'm going to hit next. And so then that response is uploaded and all finished. And so I can say virtual choir response. Instruct your students to put some sort of in the title a response. So I know that that's a response to another video and submit. And there it goes. And so then complete. And so now if I go back into the home page, back over here in the grid, and so I can go in and I can see, okay, there's a video, but then there's also a response. And so when I click on that, so here is the video, but then I can go down and boom, there is the response. And so I kind of like how it's organized where you see video and then you can see the responses below it. And it's a little bit easier to keep track of, okay, what's an original video and then what are the responses. And so then I click back and then that gets me back to my grid. And so a really nice way of how they organize all of that helps from an educator perspective, keeping all of that organized. So that is how you can do more collaboration using comments with Flipgrid. Okay, so we're back over on the teacher side of things. And so now I've got my topics here, my shiny knight. Now you can see I've got 3 different responses here. And so I've done multiple responses, or I should say responses from multiple students. And I wanted to show you then how you could download a video. Now you wouldn't need to download a video. If I go in, everything is here in the system. So by clicking on here, you can go in and give all of the feedback. You can see we already did the one feedback already. I could do that same process with these other singers as well. But say you wanted to work on a virtual choir project, or you wanted to download those videos for some other type of online digital portfolio, or incorporating them into a Google Slides presentation, or a Google site, something like that. Whatever you wanted to do. Here's how you're going to download those videos. Okay, and so you can do one of two things. One, you can come over to Actions, and you could then just select Download Video. Say, however, you've got 30, 40 singers, and you don't want to go in and do all of those individually. So what you can do is you can come over here and click on this box, and that is going to select all of them. And then in Actions, you see this little arrow. So if I click on there, there it is, download videos. And so I select on there. Do you want Flipgrid to email a download link for your videos? If the link expires, you will need to return here and request that another email be sent. Yes. Send email. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what that email looks like and how we go from there. So here I am in Flipgrid, and I've got the email already. So your Flipgrid download is ready. So I simply click on that, and so it's going to download. And so sure enough, it downloads. And I'm just going to drag that then to my desktop. Now, if I double click on that, it's going to come up with a folder here. Oop, I'll pull this over. Nope, not going to let me do it. All right, I'm just going to double click on it. There we go. And so it shows me, here's 5714-0115-1468. And so in each one, I've got the selfie, and then I've got the download. So video download MP4. So it's an MP4 file, which is probably what we want. That's going to be the most universal as far as working with that. Okay. And so then you can see each of these, I have the selfie and then the video. Now, if I select this and I go over to Get Info, so it's going to show you, and mine comes up as a monosnap video. I just have monosnap on my desktop, but it still shows up as the MP4 video format. And so it shows you the size. It's going to show you when it was created, modified. You can click in here and more info. So dimensions is the 959 by 540. So if you're doing a virtual choir project and that information is helpful to you, that is all in there. And so then you can even do a preview as well. Okay, so that's all the info on the video. And if I just come back in here to control click, since I'm on a Mac, and it says open with. So since I'm a Mac, I'm just going to use the QuickTime player. And so sure enough, here is then my video. And so then I could choose to watch that here. There's me, haha, in student form, viewing that video. So then from here, I could take it wherever I wanted to, as far as whatever project I was going to be working on. So for those of you interested in downloading those videos, that is how that process works and what those videos look like. I have had some questions about audio, and in Flipgrid, can you record in just audio and not video? Now, some of that is for purposes of assessments and, having some singers that are a little bit self-conscious about the video part of it, which, I've showed some other ways to get around that with the pixel or icons or things like that. But some of that is for maybe doing other projects. Like if you are doing a virtual choir project and you want just the audio. So right now in Flipgrid, there is no way to do just audio. Now, Flipgrid is exploring an audio only mode, but for right now, you do have to do the video. But here is a workaround for that. So now I've downloaded the singer's video. Okay. And I'm going to use a program called Audacity. Now, Audacity is free software. You can download it off of the internet. It works for PCs and for Macs, so it doesn't matter what type of computer you have. And this is a really simple, easy to use, but really effective audio editor. So I'm going to open this up. And so here is my Audacity project window. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull this video and drag it down into this project window here. And now essentially what I have is the audio version and just the audio. So if I hit play, we'll play just the beginning of it here, just so we can make sure that it's there. So it's all there. So I could go in there and very easy edit some of this out. So say here, I don't want this beginning in there. I'm going to drag and select that, delete, boom, done. Okay. Let's see. If I select in here, maybe this is the end. Ooh, let's try that again. So there we go. And so I don't need any of this other end where I was explaining things. So I'm going to click in here, select that, delete. And so here now is my singer track. There's lots of other things that I could do, but in the end, what you're going to want to do is export this as an audio file. So if you hit save project or save project as, okay, now that's going to allow you to save it as an Audacity file. That's not what we want. We want an MP3 file so that we can work with it in other pieces of software. So I'm actually going to go to export, and boom, there it is, export as MP3. And so then I can say Matt Shining Night excerpt 1. That's the first sort of assessment excerpt that I'm doing. And so then you can see MP3, it's going to save to my desktop. Some other things in there, I usually don't mess with those. That's sort of the standard settings. Click save and click OK. You can add all these tags if you want, some metadata, but we really don't need that. Hit OK. And so it is now going to be saved onto my desktop. So I can incorporate that into whatever project I am working on if I needed just the audio. So a little workaround there if you're looking to work with audio files.
All right. So that is what I have then today as far as the video tutorials on the different types of assessments. I think that covers a lot of the major ones that I think at least people would want to start off with. And, the downloading files, I had some questions about virtual choirs, and is this something that could work? And I think definitely it is. There is that 10-minute limit on those videos, of course, and that's the longest you can do. But rarely are you going to do a piece over 10 minutes. So that is something that you could utilize if you wanted to. Oh, it is saved onto your the audio file then is just saved right onto your desktop. So if you have something where you want to work with just audio, that is something that you can do. I know some people with virtual choirs, they like to separate the audio and the video, and so that would be something. Or if you're taking that audio and again you're embedding that into a Google Slides project or something like that, that is something that you could do as well. As I mentioned, Flipgrid is looking at an audio only mode, but that's not something that's an option currently. But if you've got students that for privacy reasons they don't want to appear on the video, that pixel option in there is great, because then you're not really seeing the student because the screen is so pixelated. So that is an option as far as that goes. Let's see. Also, do you personally specify whether students have to make video or written comments, or can they do either when giving discussion comments? I believe the whole thing is set up where it is by video. And so if you wanted to do something in there. I sort of investigated just for that reason, just to see if they could do something as far as written, and I could not find anything. That doesn't mean it's not there, but I think a lot of it is set up to be via video, just so that it's trying to work in this idea of collaboration and interaction amongst students, even though that it is virtual. Which, if a lot of us are teaching virtually, that could be a very valuable thing. That could be a way to get some individual interaction there. Can you make individual assignments or just class assignments? It's similar to other things where you could do, like with the repertoire assignments, where I just had Sure on the Shiny Night tenor, and then I would do Sure on the Shiny Night soprano. And so not everyone has to do every single one if you're doing it that way. So you could do some more specific assignments that way. I think that's certainly something that you could build into it. I didn't get much into the integration at all today, but a lot of these things do integrate. Even if you're just copying a link and you're putting it into your Google Classroom page, or you're putting that into the Canvas assignment, or even the Canvas announcements. And so there are some other ways that you can integrate with those learning management systems. But that's one of the really nice things, is you can copy those links and paste those, and paste that in a different piece of software, and then your students will be able to access those. So great. So I'm looking through. I think that is all that I see as far as questions. I just had a couple of more things to share with you before we wrap up here today. And so, again, if you've got questions, here's where you can find me. Okay. Again, www.choirdirectorcornergroup.com. That is our private Facebook group. So again, you don't have to search through Facebook. You can just enter that into your web browser, and it will take you right to the group. And so 3 quick questions. It takes you 30 seconds. And then you're a member of that private group, which it's really awesome. The interaction that goes on in there. You can always just email me, matt@choirdirectorcorner.com. And then also our website is another place where you can find me. There's a contact page on there as well, if push comes to shove. And so choirdirectorcorner.com. Thank you so much for being here today. And, before I say thank you, I would just like to say, please, again, do email me if you have questions. Email me and let me know what you thought of today's presentation. Did you like it? What did you find helpful? What are some of the questions that you still have? What are maybe some other technologies that you would like assistance with, whether it's Flipgrid or whether it's some other things? I'd be more than happy to help you and to create those resources that will support you in your teaching as we go into this coming year. But again, as action steps, go and sign up for that our private Facebook group, and please do email me. I would love to hear from you, love to hear feedback, and I always like to see questions that I can help you with. So again, I say thank you. Leo says thank you. And for today, I will sign off. So again, this has been Matt Walker with the Choir Director Corner and Flipgrid Essentials for the Choir Director. For those of you that came in late, don't worry. There will be a link that goes out with the replay video. All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here today. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And we shall hopefully see you just around the bend down at the Choir Director Corner. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.